don't know if I would say Wendy and I are experts in scamming people or about the scamming in general, but we put together this really great presentation, and hopefully you all have your bingo cards handy because we're going to talk about scams and then play a fun bingo game. Hopefully you win the fun big prize at the end. And then if we have time, we'll open it up for questions and answers. And if we don't know the answers, because again, we're not really experts in all of this, then we'll make sure we find out. So a couple of housekeeping things before we start. And also I should share my screen. That would be very helpful. Here we go. Don't fall. That's what we're talking about today. Ask the expert. Don't fall for it. How to identify and avoid common scams, schemes, and frauds. I'm Maggie LaBranch-Gonzales. Hello, everyone. I am an attorney in the office. I'm a certified specialist in estate planning, trust, and probate law. I have more than 14 years of experience in estate planning, trust, and probate. I know I look so young. Thank you. Stop. Let's see. I grew up here in Silicon Valley. I've got 2 girls. Ellie is 8, Addie is 5. They both talk a lot. And your other host, who's be in front of the camera today and not behind the scenes, is our amazing director of marketing and client relations, Wendy Harshbarger. Wendy's been at the office since she was like, I don't know, 12, maybe. She's basically done every job in the entire office, but now she does all of our marketing. Odds are, if you've sent an email to the office, you've probably heard from Wendy at some point in your lifetime. So I'm very excited because normally she's here monitoring everything. Today, she's going to be my wing woman, and we're going to work on the presentation together. So before we start, just some housekeeping rules. If you're having any technical issues today, again, Wendy's in front of the camera and not behind the camera, so we will do our best to kind of manage through the chat and Q&A as we're going through everything. If you have questions, we'll kind of get to them at the end. We are recording today's webinar, so if you found it really helpful and you want to share it, it'll be available probably sometime next week. Although, with the caveat, if you're watching the recording, then the odds of you winning the game are basically 0. So just to bum everybody out, you'll get all the information, but you might not win bingo. But we'll try to have it again, so you get another chance to play bingo, right?
Maggie, we're also going to send out a handout of this presentation so they don't need to worry about remembering everything that they see.
That's true. We don't stress out about this. This is meant to be fun and exciting and interesting. So Wendy will send an email out so that you have the handout. So but you need to pay attention a little bit because it is there. You have to know what's coming when you do the bingo. So you do need to feel engaged. And also we're going to have a poll at the very end today. So everyone put their thinking caps on. And let's see, did I get everything? Yes. Okay. Here we go. What is our agenda today? We're going to talk about the most common senior scams, how they affect you, how to keep from becoming a victim of a scam, what to do if you have been scammed, and then finally we're going to play bingo, and we're going to have a lot of fun because it's bingo. And I hope everyone has like all of their amulets out and their bingo stampers, because that's how you win the game, right, Wendy?
Your little troll doll.
Exactly. So what is scamming? What is it? What is it anyways? It means many different things. I mean, literally, we could spend probably the next hour talking about all of the different scams, what they are, all of the meanings of them, and you can kind of see some of the words there of what the scam might mean for you, things that might trigger what is the scam, and it might you could call it a lot of different things, but essentially, it means any means someone is going to use to get you to part with your money. And now I was telling Wendy, this is the best picture on the planet, because now when you're getting those calls, you're hearing these voicemails, whatever it is, emails, you're going to be picturing the scammer on the other end of the computer or the phone with the mask on, giving that okay sign to his partner in crime that they've hooked somebody to part with their money. But it's not going to be you guys anymore, because you're going to start recognizing all of these scams. So familiar patterns of scams, things that you want to be looking out for, right? And a lot of you, I'm sure, have experienced this. So it's like old news, but there might be some new stuff here, right? Have you ever received one of those like great news email messages, or has the government ever contacted you about an unclaimed tax refund, or my favorite, you're going to go to jail, that sort of thing? Have you ever won the lottery from an organization or a country that you have never visited, and they're trying to track you down to help you claim your prize? That might be something that is a scam. So essentially, let's fill in the blank. You can fill it in, right? If it sounds too good to be true, what is the answer here? We already know. Then it probably is, right? It probably is a scam if it is too good to be true, which sometimes it's sad. So 7 scams that you need to be aware of, and we're going to talk about each one of these separately. So the home improvement fraud, and remember, these are the most common senior scams. So, but I'm sure some people younger than that have been hoodwinked by some of these. The home improvement fraud, charity fraud, the romance scam, that might be one of my favorites. Robocalls and phone scams, the grandparent scam, or the sweepstakes. So here it is again, that word that I have the hardest time saying. Sweepstakes, lottery, and prize scams. I got to practice that yesterday with Wendy, but I still messed it up. And ID theft. So let's talk about the first one, which is your home improvement fraud. Home improvement fraud. And the question you have to ask yourself is, why are seniors more than any other group really susceptible to the home improvement fraud? Well, first of all, most of the elderly have been living in their homes for 20 years or more. And most of the time, there's a lot of deferred maintenance. There's updates, accessibility things like walkways, the grab bars in the shower, other things need to be updated. So knock, 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 here comes this contractor or somebody, a friend that they know or whatever it is. And they're going to help update all of these things that they've been deferring on for more than 20 years. And if this is you and you're sitting here thinking, that sounds just like me, I don't want to fall for this, then call Deidre in our office. She's our geriatric care manager. And she can help with this issue, right? Making sure that you're safe at home because you want to live there longer and not fall down and break a hip and then end up in the hospital. And then there you go. Not to be the Debbie Downer, but that's how it starts. I digress. The other reason why seniors are most at risk for falling for the home improvement fraud is they don't usually ask specific questions. They just trust this person who's going to come and like help them at their house. And they're not completing background checks. It's actually very simple to go onto the California website and check a license for someone who is a contractor, right? You want a licensed contractor to be making these updates for whatever reason. The other thing is if they've fallen for this home improvement fraud, then a lot of seniors aren't going to report them to the insurance bureau, to the police, whatever it is, because they are ashamed, right? They don't want to be shamed because they were duped, or they're afraid of having to move out of their home for, they're going to come in and check or whatnot. So what are some of the warning signs for this home improvement fraud? The contractor's only accepting cash payments. And not only that, they want to be paid in full upfront, the full payment in cash upfront. I cannot tell you, I could tell you, and I'm not going to call anybody out in my own family, but this has actually happened in my own family where they've hired a contractor, even a licensed contractor, and the contractor says, this is great, here's the checklist. What do they call that, Wendy? The list that they contractors have, the bullet list or checklist.
I'm not sure what you're thinking.
We're not. I didn't say we were experts in home improvement either. But they have a punch list. They have the punch list from the client that they're going to go through, and they say, okay, this is all great. This is what it's going to cost. And by the way, I need all of this paid up front. And then what happens is they get through part of the work, and then they get another client, and they're going to go work over there, and eventually they'll come back, and they never do, because why would they when they've received the full payment up front? They pressure the senior for an immediate decision. They're not going to give you time to think about it. They're not going to get you to talk to anybody else for anybody else to say that doesn't sound right.
My schedule's really full. You better book me now.
Yeah. And where is this going? This is too good to be true, right? Someone's at my house. This all sounds great. They're going to make the improvements. But they're going to pay cash, whatever it is. They're asking you to get the building permits. Right? Because that sounds something like you're really going to be great at, right? You go to the county and get approved for all of these permits. That's something that they're supposed to be doing. They don't have an answer or a listing for a business phone number. So guess what? You pay cash. It's all paid up front. You can't get a hold of them later to get the work finished. Or they're saying, hey, you don't have the cash. That's great. I know this person who can lend you the money. And that way you can get all of the work done. So here, talk to my friend who can lend you this money. So these are the things you want to be on the lookout. So how do you keep from becoming a victim of this home improvement fraud? Have something in writing. It needs to be a contract in writing. Read it and also keep a copy. If you don't have something in writing, it's going to be very hard to go back, go to court, whatever it is, and say, hey, this was the scope of work that was promised, and I paid this amount, and this is what I got instead, or this is where they stopped, or whatever it is. And make sure it's really specific, right? You want to make sure it states the exact works to be done, the start date, the end date, the total cost, and don't pay them the full amount up front, right? A third of the contract, something like that, to start, but you don't want to pay them 100%. And again, like I said before, it's really easy to check on California's website that there's a licensed, they're a licensed contractor, right?
You
Very
just have
easy.
to look that up, Contractor State License Board. It comes right up and it says, find a contractor.
And their name and business. And if they should have a phone number, right?
Yep.
Easy. So don't do it. Yeah. And so best attorney advice, free attorney advice I could give you, have a contract, have it be in writing. All of these things apply. Okay. Number 2, charity fraud. This is probably a big one because it pulls on our heartstrings. We want to donate to a good cause. We want to make people feel good. We have disposable income that we have the ability to donate to charities. So what is charity fraud? These are people or organizations that are seeking donations that do little or no work. And instead, most of the money or all of the money is going to this fake charity's creator, right? Creator. It's especially prevalent after high profile disasters. You're thinking fires, floods, earthquakes. This is where everybody comes out of the woodwork and they've got this charity and they're going to help these people. And here's the thing. And it's, guess what? 90% of it is not going to help. It's going to this person who they need all these administrative fees and things like that. So I think we don't want to be sad about it, but they're literally using all of these strategies to exploit you because, again, you want to feel good, you want to help, you want to. And I think with social media being so prevalent and everyone being on Facebook, it's so easy to just make a donation. Wendy's shaking her head. She knows. Nodding her head. Oh, I moved ahead to my favorite one. Hold on. There we go. So again, be the hunter, not the hunted. Another great visual, right? You get to decide what causes are important to you and how you want to support them, how to reach out to them. So remember, you are going to them. They're not coming to you. So if people are calling you, they're sending you messages on social media, they're sending you emails, they're sending you things in the mail. You don't have to respond to them. You don't know if they're legit, right? Don't give checks or credit cards. And if they're asking you do cash or I'm going to start over. Send checks or credit cards, right? Verified payments. Don't start doing cash. Gift cards, that should just be a given. if a charity is asking you for a gift card, I think
red flag.
Agree that's not a good thing, right? And if anybody's asking you to give them a gift card other than like your family for their birthday or Christmas or something, we can just agree that's not a good plan, not a good idea. Virtual currency, if you guys are out there dabbling in crypto, like don't start donating your crypto. Wire transfers, again, probably another huge flag. If somebody's calling and asking you to wire transfer them money for your charity, then again, it's probably a scam. Also, you want to check the website address. You want to make sure it's an .org and not a .com. ORGs are only for charities that are tax deferred charities. And you can actually check the rating of a charity. So even just known charities, the Red Cross, Planned Parenthood, whatever it is that you've been donating to, you're able to see the rating and you're able to see how much money is going to the need, how much money is going to administrative expenses. And that'll help you decide just in general who you would want to be donating to. But if they're not showing up on this rating, they don't have good ratings, they don't have an org, they're asking you to wire transfer them money, I think we can all agree, not a good charity for you, right?
Not even a real charity, maybe.
Maybe not even a real charity. Doesn't even exist. All right. This is my favorite scam. Not that because I've done it or have fallen to it, but I've seen a couple of fun Netflix videos on this, or the videos aged me. So how does a romance scam work? The cyber criminal, they create a fake profile and they're going to court their victims online. And we can all agree court is kind of an old-fashioned term, but I thought it was so cute. The relationship moves really fast and trust is gained. And then guess what? What's going to happen? Remember what the scam is. It's this person trying to take money, trying to get money from you. So the scammer starts asking for money, they receive it, and then what happens? The romance is over because it wasn't really romance for them. They just wanted your money. So we have a little clip from the FBI talking about talking about romance scams. And so I'm going to make sure my volume is up so everyone can hear it. If you can't hear it, let me know and I can move my microphone. And so beware, there's a whole lot of hanky-panky going on, and I wanted to say that just because so I could say hanky-panky. Okay, let me start this.
Romance scams usually involve a perpetrator assuming an online identity, and it's for the purpose of tricking victims. So what they do is they search out vulnerable women, generally speaking. Men can be targets as well, but it's generally women, usually above the age of 50. Anyone is subject to this. If you're online, if you're using the internet, as long as you have money and you're willing to give it, then you could be a target. They'll hunt through these various networking sites and they'll find somebody who may be a good target, and they use what the victim has put on their profile page. So you have to be very careful about what you post because they'll use that to manipulate the victim. And they'll develop a relationship very quickly. They'll try to endear themselves to the victims. They'll say whatever the victim wants to hear, and they will often propose marriage quickly. So they develop this intense relationship, and they do seek out people who may be divorced or widowed. So they're people who are vulnerable, who may be desperately looking for love. And again, they will manipulate that victim and endear themselves and gain their trust, and then they'll start asking for money. The perpetrator will state that they have an emergency, that they need money for a job maybe overseas, that they've have some type of medical emergency and they need funds. So they promise that they'll repay the victim as soon as the victim sends them money, but the victims never receive their money back. From what we can tell, these are usually criminal organizations that work together. And once a victim becomes a victim in that they send money, they will oftentimes be placed on what's called a sucker list. Ouch. And their names and identities are shared with other criminals, and they will be targeted for future recruitment. I always tell people when we try to spread the word, if you don't know somebody, don't send them money. Try to research that person's profile that you're getting involved with, and try to do some due diligence. But we're all human. We all make mistakes, and I just hope victims who have fallen prey to this can learn and hopefully not enter into another scam. We have seen victims become victimized again. So I just ask that victims try to learn from the experience and try to share their experience with others so that other people can learn from their experience and not become victimized as well.
Wow.
Did you hear that? The FBI called everyone suckers. Put them on the sucker list and they get victimized again. That's pretty. Oh no. Okay, good. So here are some signs of the sweetheart scammer. Love bombing. And we Googled love bombing, and it's essentially exactly what you think of, right? It's this person who's just like throwing out all of these terms of endearment, and they love you and they can't live without you. And then they're going to get married and and everyone's going to be so great. Sorry, my stuff is so sensitive today. They're refusing to chat on video with you, so you never really get to see who they are. They have a lot of excuses about why they can't meet in person, right? They were in a car accident, someone died. So again, it's that delay of seeing them in person, seeing that they're a real person, asking you to send them money for family medical emergencies or gift cards. Here it is again, those gift cards because they lost their job, or they're making these promises, right? I promise that I'm going to use that money to come and buy an airline ticket to come and visit you. And then that never happens because why? They were in a car accident. Someone died. They had a medical emergency. I think just in general, everyone should be really wary about finding somebody who loves them so quickly, but you know how depressing it was? Like divorced or widowed women over 50 who are vulnerable and desperate and have money. Like they really pegged a group of people, right? And so don't let that be you. So what do you do if you think you've been conned? File a report with social media website where the scammer first contacted you. You can report the fraud. So you report fraud.ftc.gov and click report now. You want to notify your financial institutions that you may have been scammed and change all of your passwords immediately. And then you want to block them on all forms of communication. Like, don't give them a way to come back in, because they're going to come up with some other ridiculous excuse, and they'll find a way to love bomb you back into doing it again, right? To gain your trust, make you feel comfortable. And then here we go again. Highly sophisticated people. Like, this is the way they make their money. So you want to block them on your messaging, phone, text, social media, all of those fun things. And I think it's important to point out what she said at the beginning was to be really aware of what you're posting online, because they can use a lot of that against you. You know, if you see those, some people post those quizzes, like 20
Yeah.
questions about you, right? And it's
Mhm.
like, what was your favorite, what was your first pet, and what was your favorite first car? And like, all of those are common questions that people are going to respond to, and they're using those questions. If you ever see, those are your security questions. What was your first car? What's your mom's name? Like, what was your first street you lived on? Like, all of those questions, those are ways that people can use all of that information against you and get access to all of your stuff. So just be really wary about what you're posting on social media. You don't want to fall for the romance scam and then scammed out of your money. Remember, it's all about you getting rid of your money to them.
I see relatives respond to those quizzes all the time on Facebook, and I don't do it. Stop doing it.
Oh, but that one is my favorite because it makes me so sad, because you genuinely, out of all of these, I think the grandparent one too, right? They're playing on your emotions.
Yep.
So here you've got somebody who is just looking for love in all of the wrong places, and they get hoodwinked, and then they lose money, and then they fall for it again because now they're on the sucker list. Like, that's just so depressing and sad. It's not going to happen anymore to any of you. I know that. So number 4, robocalls and phone scams. And if you have never received one of these, then let me know how you're doing it, because I think at least once a week I get one of these. So here is a sample IRS robocall.
To inform you that IRS is filing lawsuit against you. To get more information about this case file, please call immediately on our department number 202-470-2565. I repeat, 202-470-2565. Thank you.
I've received that exact call. Have you? That same
At
voice.
least. At least. And my favorite one is when we're going to jail. But essentially, if you're answering the phone and you hear a recorded message instead of a live person, that's what they call a robocall. And it's either, something like this, you're going to jail. There's, they've got other samples of this. But let's just be very clear. The IRS is never calling you. They don't have time for that. And if you can call them and get a hold of somebody, then that's definitely not the IRS, right? We can all agree that. So really, it sounds fishy. It's all of these things. I'm sure some of you have heard of the car warranty scam. It's a robocall where someone claims that your car warranty is expiring on your car, and there's a payment that's due to renew it or to get a warranty or something like that. Maybe there's some impending lawsuit, right? You get an urgent call from someone claiming to be from a government or law enforcement agency, like the police, like you're going to jail. And I say jail because that's not what nobody talks like that. The government doesn't talk like that. So they wouldn't be threatening you with going to jail, specifically using that word, which is what makes it so funny. And so no, they're not going to threaten you with a lawsuit over the phone. It doesn't happen that way. Maybe you have, a Visa or MasterCard. There's the credit card, PayPal, Venmo, like all of these, Amazon, all of these things. They're trying to pose as your representative, and they're trying to get your information from you. Can you verify your credit card number? Can you verify your social security number? Can you verify your credit card or some other sensitive data? But the key here is that they're calling you. Again, these companies would not call you and ask you for this information. And if you are concerned about it, the easiest thing you can do is just hang up the phone and then call them back. I've even done that. I've gotten really sophisticated emails, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I mean, it looks legit. So I just call them and they're like, yeah, we didn't send that email. So, okay. Easiest thing I did, just call them. It takes 5 minutes. And don't trust your caller ID anymore. Things are getting really sophisticated. So they'll spoof the number, make it look like a legitimate company or person, and make it appear that it's like a legitimate, reputable organization. So you can't even trust your call. If you can't trust your caller ID anymore, then what's really the point of having a phone? May I ask? That's the whole point. You don't want to answer. Who's answering their phone calls anyways? That's what I want to know. The younger generations are probably not falling for this because they don't answer their phones, right, Wendy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Text me. Don't
Again, this is why this is seniors, because they're answering their phones. They still have home phones. And they're thinking this is Visa's calling me. I should answer the phone, right? That's where this is coming in. So again, hang up the phone. Don't answer calls from unknown numbers. If it's a caller recording and they ask you to stop getting the calls, just hang up. Don't push any buttons. Do not respond to any questions, right? They're also trying to get your voice that they can record it and then use it against you in other ways. And absolutely, under no circumstances do you give out any personal information when they're calling you. Remember, financial institutions, these big companies, they're not calling people and asking these questions. So just hang up. And you can call them back and say, hey, I got this really weird call. They're asking me for all this information, or they're telling me this stuff. Is this true? And then finally, you can register your phone number on the do not call list. And some days I register everyone. Like my entire family's been registered by me on the do not call list. So you can do that maybe as like a birthday present, Christmas present, put it in the card. Like, guess what? You are now registered on the do not call list.
You're welcome. And call the number on the back of your card. Don't call the number that's given to you.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Don't call the caller ID number or
Exactly.
the 202 number.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can Google it. You can Google the number. And I've gotten
Mhm.
really legit looking phone numbers lately that, could be the doctor's office or whatever. And I'll Google it and it'll be like, this is a scam. Okay, well, I don't have to worry about that one anymore. And if you have like a smartphone now, you can start blocking the phone numbers if because they're not all going to fall through. Some of them will fall through the do not call list anyway. So now you can start like blocking them. But when in doubt, just hang up. It is very important that you do not have to be polite to these people, right?
Exactly.
You can hang up and not hurt anybody's feelings. So you can hang up and not worry about it. You don't owe them anything. Okay, here's one. The grandparent scam typically works something like this, right? You get a call late at night from somebody posing as your grandchild. They're explaining in some frantic sounding voice that they're in trouble. There's been an accident. They've been arrested. Maybe they've been robbed. And guess what? They're giving you just enough detail about how it happened. And maybe they've got somebody else on the phone, right? So they're giving the phone to another scammer who's pretending to be the doctor, police officer, lawyer. They're backing up the details of the story. And also maybe they're using details that you're feeding them, to build into their story. And guess what? They're asking you to send money and also keep it a secret.
Don't tell mom and dad.
Right. So again, it's the same thing. They're asking you to send them money and also to keep it a secret and don't tell anyone. So again, we're seeing a common theme here, I think, is what we should point out. So here is a little video about what the grandparent scam kind of looks like and how people can so easily fall for it.
Yellow. I got a phone call saying, Grandpa, I've had an accident. I'm out here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I got picked up. I've been drinking. I says, Jeff, is this you? It don't sound like you.
If they say it doesn't sound like you, you can say, well, in the accident, I hit my nose or something. And first, you want to establish the trust again. You want to tell them to keep it between us. Send me 3,000 to 4,000. There was an accident. I can't get into details right now. I just want to let you know that I'm taking care of it. I got a good lawyer.
So I took it up, paid Western Union, sent it off.
Perfect victim is somebody living alone over the age of 65. They'll volunteer who they're wishing you were when you would call. They'll say, oh, you're not my grandson, you're my nephew, my great nephew. And usually there would be an accident involved or some kind of trouble with law enforcement and you needed money to bail you out and to get home.
So at that time, we knew who we had been taken.
It's just extremely important, no matter what the supposed grandchild says, it's very important to verify and to check.
You'll have somebody that went to the bank, has the money, everything, has a receipt, and they'll say, before I give you the number, what's your pet dog's name? And that's shot.
I just hope that us going through this can help somebody else, so that they don't have to do it, so that they don't lose anything.
You have to give them credit for going on camera and saying
For
that they
sure.
got scammed. Okay, so the do's and don'ts. Set the privacy settings on your social media accounts that only people you know can access your posts and photos. So I think we've talked a little bit about that. Hang up immediately and call the person who says that they are, right? Call the grandchild, call the nephew, call whoever that is, or somebody else and say, hey, are you safe? Again, remember, the key here is they're calling you. They're asking you to come up with the details, asking you to part with the money. So an easy thing, hang up. You're not going to hurt their feelings. You know, it maybe there really was an accident, but you can call them back. You can call someone else and say, hey, I just got this call. Is this really true? Were they really arrested? Did they accident? Da, 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 da. You know, don't panic. No matter how dire their situation sounds, they're trying to get you upset and distract you from spotting that this really is a scam. And again, you're going to be kind of discombobulated. It's in the middle of the night. They're going to be trying to convince you that it really is true. Don't call anything. And again, trust your instincts. Remember, if it doesn't feel right, probably isn't. If it's too good to be true, it probably isn't, right? So we're seeing these common themes for the scams here.
Oh, and Justin did a blog on this about the people using voices to make it sound, so it can actually sound like your grandchild, because if they posted things on social media, they can use that voice to replicate their voice. So it might even sound exactly like
It might not
your
be that
grandchild.
this doesn't sound like you. It could be that it is sounds like you.
Mhm.
Legit. But now we can figure it all out. Okay, number 6, sweepstakes at lottery and prize scams. Here we go. How winners lose millions. Sweepstakes are the most common form of fraud, according to the FTC. Believe it or not, right? The most common form of fraud. Seniors lose about $35 million annually in prizes or sweepstakes. It's actually against federal law to play a foreign lottery on the telephone or through mail. And legitimate lotteries do not notify people by phone, email, or mail. Again, remember, we're seeing the theme here. They're not going to contact you and say, hey, you won some money. How can we help you collect it? They're waiting for you to show up and claim your prize. They also do not charge fees or upfront charges and do not collect credit card information. So legitimate lotteries, they don't do any of that. But they're masters of manipulation. So we have another video. And so we're going to see the lottery scam and how easy it is to fall for this one. And again, this is the most common one. So we should be paying attention to this one.
Last year, Dorothy started getting calls from Jamaica, telling her she'd won an $8.1 million lottery.
I need to talk to you. You need to call me as soon as possible because we have to deliver the prize to you today.
Dorothy was told all she had to do was pay the taxes. The man who called was very nice at first.
Hi, Mr. Edwards. Well, when he would call, he'd ask, well, how are you today? I hope you're feeling better. I heard you were sick. I prayed for you last night. How is your daughter doing? He always seemed to be nice until I would refuse to send him money.
Wow. 2 pretty girls. Dorothy still has her house, but her money is gone. She sent $30,000 to Jamaica in less than a year. Sadly, Dorothy is not alone.
I'm a wife of a military pilot, and I'm the daughter to my father, Bill, from New Hampshire, who I never thought I would tell you was a victim of a scam. but I sit here today and he is a victim. He's a retired Navy and commercial airline pilot who lost over $85,000.
At Senate hearings last month, family members described how their loved ones were bilked out of hundreds of thousands of dollars before they could intervene.
These Jamaican scammers are masters of manipulation, playing to their victims' fears and emotions until they have drained them of every dime.
AARP Board President Rob Ramasco told the committee it's time to fight back.
In collective, it impacts tens of thousands of our senior citizens. And $3 billion? If someone showed up here and said, I'm going to steal $3 billion from seniors in America, I think there'd be a lot of people pretty upset about it.
Along with the U.S. Postal Service, AARP has sent out 25 million postcards warning about foreign lottery scams.
I am so pleased to be informing you that you have won the lottery in the Republic of Afghanistan.
And is airing public service announcements nationwide.
I'm a wealthy foreign dignitary, and I would like your help moving a vast sum of money into this country. Get lost.
The AARP Foundation has also set up fraud fighter call centers in several states.
Oh, I'd be very happy to send you a packet of information.
Volunteers offer support, peer counseling, and referrals to victims and their families. But, says Ramasco, more needs to be done.
This Jamaican problem is particularly vicious. So putting the spotlight on it, having the real life stories, and also beginning to focus on the need for strict law enforcement, prevention, and intervention.
If you get the phone call and they tell you that you won a lottery and you have to pay for it, it's a scam. It makes elderly people think that they have won something. They could be so much ahead and they're going to help people. It isn't. They steal your money. They ruin your life. They make you feel ashamed. Please don't get involved. It's heartbreaking.
I mean, it's not all her fault. He was threatening to come and burn her house down. So, I mean, that's not entirely.
As a foreign dignitary would if you won the lottery.
And
right?
you needed to pay the taxes,
Yeah.
right? So real prizes are free. If you have to pay to get your prize, then it's a scam. If someone tells you to pay a fee for taxes or shipping and handling charges, processing fees to get your prize, you're dealing with a scammer. If they say paying increases your odds of winning, that's illegal. You can't do that. Only your scammer would do that. Or if you say you have to give up your financial information, and obviously you are not, I'm assuming, playing in the Jamaican or Canadian lotto, right? No one has done that recently. So if they come claiming you won the lottery in some other country that you didn't play the lottery in, then you obviously could not have won that. So I think that's the big takeaway. Again, these people are coming to you. They're trying to get you to part with your money. So that is why it is a scam. And finally, number 7 is identity theft. As a young child, my mother told me I can be anyone I want to be. And it turns out that this is called identity theft. Identity theft occurs when someone uses your personal information without your permission, knowledge to obtain credit or goods. So they're using your personal information to get a credit card, to buy things, whatever it is. And it could be a lot of different personal information, because what does this category really mean? It's your, driver's license number, your telephone number, your address, maybe your passport, where you're located, social security numbers, credit card numbers, medical records, your email address, or now it could be your biometric data, your fingerprints, your eyeball scans. They're doing that in San Francisco. So all of these different little things, your pieces of information, and we've talked about like those things that people are filling out, that's part of your identifying information. They're piecing this all together, and a lot of this is probably found online, believe it or not. And so all of this can be used against you for identity theft. So how are they getting this information? They're using your computer. And I think, Wendy, weren't you the one that told me that someone got
Yeah,
access
I
to
had a
like
loved
your,
one that somebody logged onto their computer. And they're a very sophisticated person. You know, we were all kind of surprised, but yeah, they called and said, let me onto your computer right now. Somebody's stealing your information. They let them on, and then they started taking all the data from their computer.
mail theft. So you've heard of that. They're going through your mail. Maybe they've actually robbed your house. Dumpster diving, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if anybody's actually doing dumpster diving to get your personal information, but maybe. They also call it dumpster diving when you're getting food. So maybe they're eating and also getting your personal information. It could be pre-approved credit cards. You've been pre-approved for whatever, and now they have enough information that they're going to get your credit card, right? Instead of you. So prevention tips, closely guard your personal information. Be wary of where you're putting it online. Make sure that you're using secure browsers. You have password protectors. You're changing your passwords. You have sophisticated passwords in the first place. You're not using your first name, last name, your birthday, popcorn, whatever it is, right? You want to have complicated passwords and you're changing them. You have a shredder. Don't put mail in your mailbox with the flag up. It's like a sign. Hey, I've got a check that's going out right now. Come and pick it up before the mail person does. Before entering a retirement community, you want to make sure you have your mail forwarded to a trusted person, maybe not sending it to the retirement community itself. And check the mailbox situation at the retirement community. My grandparents, they actually had like a mailbox lock and key, where some of them, they don't have the lock and key. So it might be different. Don't allow your home helpers to open your mail or handle any financial transactions. And you want to make sure that you're doing background checks on any caregivers that you do have regular access to your home. And I've had clients who've been hoodwinked and had been victims of fraud because their caregivers, they didn't do a background check. And scary things can happen. And so we want to prevent that. So you just want to make sure that they are who they say they are. They're all on the up and up. And just so you know, you guys are the first to find out, our shredding event is next April 27th. So mark it on your calendar. So start saving up all of your paper in a safe, secure place so that you can bring it to our shredding event, and we'll shred it for you, and we'll do it no charge. We just ask for a small donation to the Alzheimer's Association, but let us do all of your shredding and make sure you don't fall victim to identity theft. All right. So really, there's a simple legal solution to some of these problems, and that is talking about your estate plan, your trust. So this is a client, right? My mom lives by herself in Sunnyvale, and she's having trouble managing her finances. She wrote a check to some person who called her on the phone. It wasn't much, but she was confused. And I'm worried in the future she might get scammed out of a large sum by some telemarketer or criminal, and she needs some protection from scams. So one of the options that you could do if you are a trustee, a trusted child person, or if you are the parent, if the mom names her daughter as a co-trustee, this means that the daughter has power of attorney for mom's accounts. She's co-trustee for trust accounts. So she'll be able to monitor what's going on with mom's accounts. And also the bank can alert the trustee, hey, your mom's here and she's asking for a cashier's check or a money order. And it seems like a lot of money. That's happened. I've had banks call me and say, hey, your client's here and they're asking for a money order for 30 grand. I don't think that's right. The mother could also remove herself. She could actually say, I don't want to do this anymore. And then the daughter can act as the sole trustee. And then only the daughter has exclusive power to write checks on behalf of the trust. So you can do some things to protect you or your loved ones in terms of having your estate plan, which would be great, right? All right, so here's where the fun begins. Make sure you have your bingo cards handy. We want to make sure you guys are paying attention, and we can't hear you, so you're just gonna have to shout the answers out, or we'll have Wendy shout the answers out on your behalf, right? So in order for you to win, you either have to get 4 in a row vertically or horizontally. We're not playing a diagonal game, and obviously there's no free space. So if you get bingo, then you need to raise your hand, and you can do that next to your name. Is that how that works on the thing? Yep. Just raise your hand and then make sure you enter your card number in the chat. I'll put my chat up so I can see it. And so here we go. Are you guys ready for this? I hope you are, because I can't tell, because I can't hear anybody. So let's get your cards out. When someone steals your personal identifying information to commit fraud. What do we call that? There it goes. Identity theft. So if you have identity theft, you want to mark that off on your bingo card. Okay. Everyone's marking. I'm going to give you guys some time to find it on your bingo card. Make sure you've got it. I actually don't have one. Is it unfair if I don't get to play? I should feel like maybe I should have done the rolls. And
You're a winner already.
I am a winner already. Thank you, Wendy. This is why I have Wendy here. It's my ego because it needs it. You get a call late at night from someone posing as your grandchild. This should be a dead giveaway. Anybody have a guess here? This is your grandparent scam. So again, if you're looking at your bingo cards, you want to find that grandparent scam on your bingo card and see if it's there. I'm going to pull up mine so I can see. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. The bingo cards. Here we go. Grandparent scam. Okay, you've got it. Let's go to the next one. To prevent this scam, you should verify the contractor's licensure with the contractor's state license board. I think we said this so many times. So again, if you're dealing with this, you've got that home improvement scam. So you're going to look for home improvement scam on your bingo card. See, we've got, hopefully you guys are excited and you're getting that home improvement scam marked off on your, that's 3. We've got 3. We just need one more. This scam uses the illusion of a romantic or close relationship to manipulate and steal from the victim. I think these are too easy, Wendy. Just too easy. This is the romance scam. This is Maggie's favorite and also saddest, I think, because it's manipulating you and stealing from you, and then you get put on the sucker list. So that's your romance scam. So I'll give you a couple seconds to find that on your bingo card. Make sure you're marking that off. Okay, let's see here. Next one. These scams use an automated telephone call that delivers a pre-recorded message trying to sell you something. Guesses? This is your robocall and phone scam. Robocall and phone scam, anyone? Mark that off on your bingo card. I've lost count, but maybe we're getting close. We've got at least 4 going. So we might be getting close to the bingo.
Yeah, I think that was 6. I don't know though.
Okay. Let's make sure I didn't miss anybody with their hand up. Okay. Let's see. These scams use fake prize notices to take advantage of optimistic victims. This is with lottery and prize scams. So this is the lottery. Remember, if they're calling you and saying you won money, you got that prize, you got to pay for it in some way. That's the lottery and prize scam. So if you've got that on your bingo card, make sure you mark that off as well. Okay. Go to the next one. This scheme seeks donations for organizations that do little or no work. Instead, the money goes to the fake charity's creator. I wonder which one this is. This is the charity fraud, right?
Oop, got a raised hand.
Oh,
got 2. Susan and Jennifer.
All right.
Well, there's our 2 winners, Maggie.
Card 109. I got to write this down.
I got it. Yeah, 109 and 116.
Got it. Nice. Woo, you guys like tied for it. And my watch like buzzed at the same time. You guys raised your hands. That was kind of weird. How exciting.
Congratulations to Jennifer and Susan.
Okay, don't be sad because we're going to go through the rest. Oh, I got a little notification hands went up. Okay. We're just going to go through the rest, but we do have our 2 winners. So congratulations. But if you didn't win, don't worry. We're going to do this again sometime. And if you're watching this on video, you can't win anyway. So let's just go through the other questions and then we'll make sure we get to anybody's questions if you have any. In this scam, the victim receives an urgent, frightening call from someone claiming to be the government or law enforcement agency, like the police. This is your impending lawsuit scam. And again, you don't have to mark anything off because we have our 2 winners. In this ruse, scammers posing as representatives of a car dealership or manufacturer, they call to tell you your auto warranty is about to expire. Wendy, these are so just gimmies, right? The car warranty scam. Okay,
Well, I guess in real bingo, you don't have to think too much either though, right?
Yeah, right. That's true. Just numbers. Which number was that? In this scam, artists trick caller IDs into displaying false information. This one's a little harder.
Ooh, this is harder.
Yeah. I did say this word because I thought it was funny, but this is your spoof. right? They're able to manipulate the phone number to make it seem like it's a legit phone number, or be either the company or somebody legitimate, right? So they're spoofing you. A commercial telemarketer, they're not allowed to call you if your number is on this registry. This registry. And again, when you guys are done here, you're going to register all on this registry. Am I right? Yes. This is the do not call list, right? And you can just Google it and you can enter your phone number and all the numbers of everyone you know. Again, make it their birthday present. This is the most common form of fraud, according to the FTC. Does anybody remember that one? I think I said it a couple times. This is your sweepstakes. This is that you won a prize. We're going to come and get it, make you pay taxes for it. This information includes your social security number, passport number, driver's license, taxpayer identification number, patient identification number, financial account number, or credit card number. If you remember, it was all of that information on that slide, and that was your personal identifying information, all of that information. Investigating a person or business's trash to find information that can use to steal identity is called. Are you ready?
We're looking for a new meal.
Right. This is your dumpster diving. And I just visualize people just like diving into your trash, looking for all of your personal information to steal your identity. This is a financial arrangement to help protect your assets from theft and fraud by naming a trusted person as a co-trustee or sole trustee. And again, this is your living trust. So if you have it and you're thinking, yeah, this might be something on the horizon, you are a trusted person, you might want to update your documents, start adding the co-trustee, thinking about this modification to just add another layer of trust. And I had a client a couple months ago come in, and the reason why they decided to be co-trustee is because she was staying the night at her parents' and she had to borrow her parents' computer. And while she was borrowing their computer, they got some really interesting pop-up ads where they were trying to get the parents to order some enhancements and vitamins and things like that. And she found out that her parents had ordered something to the tune of $30,000 or $40,000 of these things that, you know, could have been probably prevented. This should be done on any caregiver that might have regular access to your home. And this is that criminal background check. We want to make sure that the people who are helping us are legit above the board people. And then finally, we have a poll for all of you. So Wendy is going to launch the poll. We're working on our Ask the Expert topics for next year. So we want to know which kind of topics might interest you. Maybe how to use Chat GPT. You might not even know what that is. And hospice topics about, you know, if you're looking at hospice, what is it like? How does it work? Maybe becoming a better communicator. Interactive desk stretching session, having somebody come and lead us through some exercises on how to do some desk stretches so we don't feel caregiver compassion fatigue. Or if you have other ideas of things that you'd like me to present, if you could shoot me an email, that would be really helpful, because I want to have experts come in and talk about things that you are legitimately interested in. And
so Maggie's email is in the email that you'll receive shortly after this. Maggie's email will be in that. You don't have to
scramble to write it down.
Exactly.
So what's funny is there's kind of an even split. So it looks like there's a good mix of stuff. So again, just take a few minutes. Hospice. Communicator.
And I can get this data out of Zoom too for you.
Everyone's interested in hospice. That got the most.
I think it's kind of a misunderstood thing. A lot of people don't know much about.
Yeah, and if you've never experienced it, it can be a little bit of a misnomer. And so thank you guys all for participating in our poll. We appreciate all of you. And again, you're our clients. We hope that you're enjoying our Ask the Expert series or all of our other stuff or just our office in general. So don't keep us a secret. Tell everyone you know about us, your friends, your family. You want us to present this or some other topic out in the community, just let us know. And also, if you are enjoying the Ask the Experts or just our office in general, please consider leaving us a review online. All of our referrals either come from clients or our reviews, so that's really great.
Oh, Maggie, do you see the chat? One of the people on this said they got a grandparent call and they didn't recognize who the grandchild was, and they asked who he was, and he said the wrong name, and they hung up on him.
Well, good for you. I'm
Yeah,
glad
way
you
to
hung
go.
up. That's good you asked them who the
Yep.
grandchild
Yeah.
was and not the other way around. Because that was the mistake the other guy made. Like, oh, is this, whatever.
Is
And
that
then
you?
he's
Yeah.
giving him the information that he needed. So let me end here. Stop sharing. I think I've got a question. Do you think all the messages from Gavin Newsom asking for money are scams? I get 2 or 3 a day from good old Gavin. I think in general, I mean, this is my personal opinion. I think political ads, they're not scams, they're legitimate things. But once you start donating to any political person, then they share your data with other political people. It's like, once you've shared money with the Democrats or the Republicans, then they're going to share all of your stuff. I've made the same mistake. So now I'm getting ads from like people I don't even know in different areas of the state and country asking to support their stuff. So I think that's the easiest thing you can do. Again, put yourself on the do not call list, take your name off. Don't give money to people. But yeah, they're not necessarily scams, but hits a lot. The political stuff is definitely up there.
And if you want to donate, search for them online and go to their actual site and do it that way. You don't need to do it through a phone or through an email.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. Well, I really appreciate everyone hanging out and doing our Ask the Expert today about scams. Again, we're not experts, but we definitely want to share the information because it's not just like they said, sophisticated people can fall for it. It happens to a lot of people, so don't feel embarrassed, don't feel bad. It could happen to you. Like, we're all human. Let's hope it's not the mistake of $30,000, something like that. If you found it helpful, you want to watch the video, you want to share it, just let me know, or actually respond to that email that Wendy's going to send out. And if you have other topics you want to talk about, shoot me an email, which will be in the email that Wendy sends out as well, so we can start working on our schedule for next year. Thank you, Susan. I love these earrings too. I wore them just for you guys today. They're kind of flashy. And that's it. So have a great weekend, everyone. And again, thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.